Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so it's Kate with Kate's Regretless Life. Let's do a quick signs and symbols storyline. We're going to touch base, see what we've got. A couple of reversals right out of the gate. This is looking right now like we've got either indecisive energy on someone's heart. I'm just going to go with 6 cards tonight, I think. Yeah, we're kind of a mess, aren't we? So 2 reversals, 2 indecisives, and 2 confident uprights. Now here's the thing. Our confident upright energy is blocked emotions. Now we could have somebody who literally, I'm picturing these less as quill pens and more as like the feathers on like bow and arrows, like a cross, maybe crossbow, or perhaps even like the symbol of like somebody could have like the symbols of the skull and bones cross, the pirate flag somewhere. But it's talking about like I can't go forward with that. In fact, even though I've got a ton of emotions, it may not be something that I can afford to share with anyone. I'm not supposed to, I'm not allowed to, I can't get through to them. I don't know the right words to choose, no matter how much emotion I have. Somebody could have a really lovely fish tank, by the way, and have like a kind of old-fashioned, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea kind of setup in their fish tank. With that 6 of air in the reverse, so this would be like the 6 of swords. This says that there's conflict, drama, and I can't seem to get out of it. I can't move on from it. I'm not able to hear what my ancestors are saying. I don't feel like I'm connected to my guidance system. I feel like this person is not sleeping well at night either. Somebody could have glasses that they have to wear, but it also could be that their eyes are starting to look bloodshot or really even dry-eyed, or dry now from too many tears. This feels very stressed out and no end in sight of the stress because there's no communication and there's no outlet for this person's emotions that they have. Now we get to the heart being in the reverse, and it's like my whole heart has been shut down. Once upon a time this was beautiful. Once upon a time my heart had wings. I felt like this was, is some divine, crowning glory from the universe, but instead my heart is like full of emotion, but I don't know how to get those words out. I don't know how to say all the things that I feel, and I'm not allowed to say the things that I feel. We got to figure out why. But let's go to these next 2 cards. So our indecisive cards are hope and poetry. And that starts to look like we've got a character who's all but given up, but this could be playing out a bit as a melodrama only because of the poetry aspect. They have this waning hope. Like, I used to think maybe there could be a new beginning. We see the baby dragon down there. I always think that this card makes me think of like Game of Thrones because the hatching baby dragon, or we could look at that as maybe Phoenix rising from the ashes, but it's baby dragon business if you ask me. But it just feels like this is somebody who's starting to think, I don't know that I'll ever be able to get my words out. So let's hone in on where the real problem is. By the way, I don't know if somebody has an eclectic taste in art. They could have a real love for things that have, like, this is the Greek key on these Greek pillars. So either somebody could be in Greece, or they could really like certain classical art, but then also we have more modern art, right? A table with a foot leg instead of table legs. We've got kind of a ventriloquist dummy. That could just represent that somebody's going through the motions in their day. They could practically feel like a ventriloquist dummy, feel like I'm not really present. Really, I'm stuck in my head. I'm stuck in my emotions, and I'm really more concerned with, I'm so stressed out because all the words I need to say, all the things that my heart feels, I have no outlet for those. But I'll go through my days and I'll act like everything's fine, and I'll go to work and I, won't mention that I'm in my own little private hell because I have all these emotions that I can't seem to say to the person I need to say them to. Okay, so where is that problem coming from? We've got the Justice card. We've got the 10 of Wands in the reverse. And we have the King of Cups. And it's raining every day where he is because he carries a rain cloud in with him, right? The rain cloud remains in his, I'm a mess tonight, remains in his own umbrella. Okay, so something happened that went wrong. He could be a water sign, so a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, or possibly a Libra. He may have done something, this is from his perspective, he may have done something maybe that turned out to be unfair toward the person that he had emotion for. However, with this 10 of fire, you notice this is somebody who's under someone else's thumb. Sometimes, you know, things trickle downhill. So if there was some element of his life, got himself into some sticky situation, got himself into a debt he had to repay, got himself into situations where, you know, he's between a rock and a hard place, that then translated into, now I can't do right by a partner. Now that has been a disaster. Unless this is all about business. I don't know. It's all about emotion, so I have a hard time believing that it's just about business. I think what could have impeded his motion was something to do with business. But definitely he was like busy working for possibly a tyrannical boss, someone who actually was not being fair. Maybe he wasn't paid fair. Maybe there was pressure put on him to continue to do what he needed to do. And that pressure could have come from a lot of different angles. Maybe from a boss themselves, or maybe from an unfair situation, right? Something that happened to him was unfair, but in turn, it also made him operate in an unfair manner. And it has left him with a deep hunger, because we've got our crocodile here, and that could be another symbol of the day. Someone in like a tutu as well could be a symbol. Umbrellas could be another symbol. He could live in an area that rains very heavily. I'm thinking somewhere in the UK right now. But with the crocodile, you know, that takes me to like the River Nile. But he's carrying the rain clouds with him wherever he goes, because this is really stressful and really sad. He's blocked from being able to express his emotions because something went wrong, and he didn't do right by somebody, but it's because something else in his life was unfair and unjust. And the net result is I have all these emotions and no way to express them. Too much has gone wrong. Can I just see one more on that Justice card? We've got the Sphinx, which is the great unknown. It's the great enigma, the great mystery. And it did come out sideways. There's so much that hasn't been expressed. There's so much that I feel like this could be the person that he most wants to express things to. Someone who is mysterious in their own right. Someone that is almost like, I feel like it's, at this point, it's like almost a dream. Because this person, this Sphinx, by the way, somebody's name could start with an S. They could have an SPH. I'm thinking like a Stephanie name or something, but somebody who's very awakened. You notice that the Ankh is there over the third eye. She could wear really big earrings, have like a really unique style. She could have an Egyptian background. It doesn't have to be a feminine. It's just that's what we see here. And even in the storyline, we've seen him say, what's really gone wrong is because of my workflow, because of something in my own life, I then kind of messed up this connection. And I've been sad about it ever since. But she doesn't even know that much about it. Now she, in turn, is a bit of a mystery to me. Very brave, very regal, very courageous, but also perhaps a mystic. I bet you she knows more than what you think she does, character. I'll bet you, King of Cups, that all the emotions that you're feeling, all of the problems that you've faced, all these sleepless nights, all of this waning hope that you're feeling that you're ever going to be able to find a way to express your heart, I have a feeling she probably knows more than what you think she does. Let's just check that. 5 of Pentacles. She's feeling like he's lost somewhere out there. Lost in those big dark city streets. Again, eyes glowing. Somebody's got to have like irritated eyes, like taken off their glasses, and their eyes are still just like really either shiny from crying or from fatigue because they're not sleeping well. We have fortitude and enslavement in the reverse. She's, if anything, we may have this Sphinx character, this feminine, who's actually wishing them strength, trying to say, you aren't really stuck. I can tell that you're feeling, I sense that you're probably feeling a bit lost, but you're not really. You have the power to change whatever you'd like. You're not trapped anywhere any more than I am. So if there's something that you need to say, ultimately, you're just going to have to find the courage to do that. And we always have this stuffed animal. See, I think she's way softer. I always think that there's a duality to her. She could be a Leo, by the way, especially coming in as the Sphinx lion. Then we have the stuffed animal lion, with the lion on her armor. And of course, this is a fortitude card. So fortitude is normally the strength card. But it just looks like she's saying, I do sense that they're probably feeling lost. But if they're not coming toward me to talk to me, that's because they haven't found the courage to do that. But there's really nothing stopping them other than maybe some kind of fear, but there's really nothing to be afraid of. I'm hearing that song by Sia and Labyrinth, Don't Be Afraid of These Thunder Clouds. And the New Deal comes out a lot. I feel like there's a continual nudge in most of these symbolic messages for characters to think about tomorrow, to think about how do you want the next chapter of your life to go? How would you like things to be different? Because if right now you're walking around raining, raining rain on yourself underneath your umbrella, so you're your own rain cloud, and you're unhappy and you're feeling blocked, but in truth, the only person blocking you is you, then why not think a little bit more about making that change? I don't know if somebody commutes in really thick, heavy traffic, or if they go out for like a jog in a public area and there's like always so many people around. This could also be somebody's planning on like going to a concert or something. But I'm picturing more in this storyline, like this New Deal is saying, maybe collectively, all characters right now would do better perhaps to start thinking not about where we're stuck, but about what we'd like to accomplish. And then instead of focusing on, but I don't think I can. I don't know if I can explain things. I don't know if I can talk to that person. Instead, turning the question upon oneself and saying, wait a second, who's stopping me? Why do I think I can't? What's preventing me, really? Do I have this Leo's phone number? Can I call her? Can I text her? Do I know where she's at? Can I reach out to her? Is there really any reason that I cannot speak to her if I wanted to? And I think that's what she's urging this person is like, be brave enough to do the thing that you want to do to change what your tomorrow will be. If you're unhappy with what your today is, I'm not so scary. If you want to talk to me, come talk to me and see what happens. It just feels like she already knows, and wisely she's letting this person decide what they're going to do. I don't see her reaching out to them or trying to help them or give them some olive branch. She's kind of like, well, they can do whatever they need to do. I'm not scary. But if they're scared, they'll probably have to figure that out first before they can come toward me anyway. But this feels pretty unpleasant, right? Feeling stuck, feeling up all night, kind of with swollen eyes from crying or being sad or being unable to sleep, feeling like one's heart isn't being expressed, feeling, trapped, feeling like you're losing hope. But really it's just because I think they haven't taken any of the action that they need to, which is to simply make a change. If they've been silent, then maybe the changes they need to communicate. I mean, that's certainly what she says over here as the Sphinx. Don't leave it in silence. Don't leave those mysteries unsolved. Say what you gotta say. You know what? I kind of really like that image. Somebody could have like a real love for all things Egyptian. Somebody could have, like a miniature image or like a paperweight or something of the pyramids. Somebody could have visited the pyramids at some point, but there's like a desert scene that could be like, I'm picturing somebody has it up on their wall or something, like a painting of sorts where there's like the desert sun and the pyramids, or something to do with, the great mystery. Somebody could also have jewelry that has like an ankh on it, whether it's a ring or a necklace or something. But we certainly have a lot of lion imagery coming through here today also. I just keep feeling like this is more about, energetically encouraging characters to do what they need to for themselves. That's the way I would look at this. And get beyond a fear or a worry or an injustice, and instead take back one's power and do what he needs to do to have it quit raining on his head. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I put these out every morning at 5 a.m. I try to do a little bit more specificity in these and talk about any of the symbols that pop out to my eyes. But if you are looking for the zodiac reads, I tend to put out 2 each week for every single zodiac. I do all 13s. That means I include Ophiuchus, and you guys can find those just by looking up any of the playlists under the playlist tab, or you can go to the live tab on my channel and you will see all of my most recently streamed or uploaded videos. All right, thank you. Bye, guys.